All right, everyone, thank you for your patience. Tonight's event at the Fabulous Forum, a sellout, 15,587. 15,587 for a live gate of 2,168,675. 2,168,675. Bonuses tonight, an instant classic tonight between Maestro Dong Young Kim, Polo Reyes. That'll take our fight of the night. He keeps on going. Dan Hendo, 50K. And Michael Bisping, the last performance of the night. One note for you, tonight we announced Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz 2. That will take place August 20th. UFC 202, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas is the destination, T-Mobile Arena. Danny Austin?
Uriah, you spoke obviously in the octagon about having to consider your options going forward. Was that something you were thinking about prior to tonight's fight, or was that sort of just in the ring afterwards?
This has been a long career, so you obviously think about things here and there and, throughout time, and it's always kind of gauging how you feel in practice is the biggest thing. So I've always prided myself on being a guy that doesn't take much damage in fights, and tonight I got caught a couple of times. It's not characteristic of me, so you got to give credit to Cruz for that, but also consider myself as a guy that just turned 37 and in a tough sport. So it's also consider I was coming down from 163 from this thing, so if I do take another fight at 45s possibly. But I don't know what I'm going to do. Right now I want to go back and watch the fight. It's always kind of an instinctual fight for me, and I have to go back and watch again to see exactly what happened, because we're in there. It's like, you're just going and going and going. So I'd like to go back and look at it and see, how I look, because honestly, I got myself in amazing shape for that fight. I mean, you always have bumps and bruises and little injuries in practice, but I did the things to get myself in tip-top shape. I didn't feel like fatigue was an issue, but I did get caught a couple times and got outclassed in the fight, and I don't like that. I mean, I'm fighting a great fighter, but for me to be outclassed, I got to assess things. So I'm going to do that. I'm not going to make any decisions. I know we have the new arena coming to Sacramento, so that's something I'll be very aware of, and that's kind of a dream come true to be in that thing there. So that's something to think about as well. But, I love this sport. I love what I do. I've always loved fighting and combat, and I love to train hard, but I want to be at my best.
And then, Max, you were very clear that you wanted a title shot. Is that next for you? Because, I mean, there's a pretty clear path in your division right now in terms of who will be fighting over the next 6 to 8 months. How do you see it playing out?
I don't know, the interim belt is in 200, and now we got Conor fighting at, what weight, 70 again?
Yes, sir.
We see what happens, if I got to go for 10, I'll go for 10. If UFC want to come to Hawaii, they can come to Hawaii with open arms and all. Been begging these guys to come down, so hashtag UFC Hawaii, guys. Let's get the showdown there. I know all you guys want to go to paradise, so come on down.
For Dave Schaller, please.
Yes,
just with that note at 202,
Yeah.
what impact does that have on the featherweight title right now? Is he remain champion for now, and it's just on hold? What happens?
So that fight is still for the interim title. I think if you're Max Holloway and other guys at the top of the division, it does open things up. We haven't gotten that far yet. As Dana has said, Conor was absolutely obsessed with this 170-pound fight, and Nate Diaz had no problem signing up for it again either. So I think the division is wide open right now. We'll see by the end of the year if Conor would like to return and fight the winner. Otherwise, I think it's a good night to be someone like Max Holloway.
Great. And the other big news, of course, Brock Lesnar coming back at UFC 200. I don't know how much involved you were in that, but, I mean, obviously this is big news. He's been away for 4 years. Can you talk about maybe what you know as far as how that came together, how the decision was made, and what that means for him in WWE? Is this a one-off? Is he coming back? What is this?
So WWE put out a statement tonight that I saw, but I will tell you I've been with the UFC and the WEC for going on 8 years now, and this is the first time that news was a surprise to me. So I met with Dana and Lorenzo in the back, and we're going to have some news here in the next couple of days. But I know the MMA world is excited. I know the pro wrestling fans are excited, and I think next 48 hours to even a little bit longer will be really telling in the process.
All right, and thanks, David. Obviously, it was a great night. One kind of bad note, we did hear about a handful of media members getting escorted out towards the end of the night. Can you give us any insight as to what happened there, and is there any statement from the UFC?
No, I appreciate the question, John. Out of respect to all the parties that were involved in that conversation, I'm not going to delve into the details.
Thanks, Dave. For Dominic, please, obviously a fantastic performance by you tonight, but the consensus in the early going was it seemed like maybe you were a little off, having a little trouble settling in. Were there any issues that you were dealing with, and did you feel a little bit off to start with?
I mean, I got to go back and watch the fight. Like Faber said, it's kind of a whirlwind when you're in there, but I didn't feel off. I just knew I make adjustments on instinct, and he was coming really heavy in the first round, so I pushed the pace in the first round too. And I was just adjusting. I mean, I felt fine.
Fantastic, thanks. And for Dan Henderson, quickly, just can you talk about kind of what you remember from that opening round and you know how hurt you were and what was going through your head at that point?
Yeah, I mean, it's always nicer to not to get hurt in that round. I know that I felt like I hurt him a little bit and came in and he popped me. Next thing I know, I was on the ground. But, I mean, I was aware the whole time on the ground. Obviously, I said, shit. So, you know, I just knew I needed to recover and you know, tried to get back up. And he kept on me. And, you know, I just he didn't hurt me to where I was not knowing what was going on. But he had me in trouble for a while. And, you know, the second time I went down, you know, I feel like I remember being on my hand still, and he threw a knee on my head and knocked me down again. And I just decided to hold on to him and recover and, you know, start in round 2.
And you've always kind of brushed off the retirement questions, but this is the first time you've really admitted, hey, maybe this is it. Can you talk to us about how you'll reach that decision, what the process will be for you to make a choice?
You know, I don't, like Uriah said, I don't want to make any decisions emotionally, but, you know, knowing that in my mind there's a possibility that might have been the last one, emotional, but, yeah, I don't know. It all depends on what my options are afterwards. Obviously, I'm going to need a paycheck for a little while, but we'll see what happens.
Dominic, were you surprised by how the fight played out? Did it follow the script that was in your mind before this?
I try not to lay out a script except that I want to win, and I'm always looking for the finish. You know, he's got a tough mindset, and I knew going into this fight, regardless of what anybody says, when you're fighting him, he's a tough fighter. I knew that. I said that before the fight. Just because I believe in myself and believe I'm better than everybody in the division doesn't mean I don't give credit where credit's due. And he's got a championship mentality, so he's not going to go out easy. Everybody in these fights is tough. When you get to the top 3 of the division, top 5 of the division, you can drop guys several times, and they're never really out of the fight. Sometimes they get more dangerous. So you got to be careful how much you push and where you're at. And I would have liked to get him out of there. That's the only thing. But I got as close as I could, and I did the best I could at that.
Whatever tactics you were using were muting his aggressiveness. What would you say you did overall to do that?
Well, in that first round, I just remember I had a feeling he was going to come out very aggressive early. One, I told him the whole time before the fight, come at me, come forward. Because the first fight we fought, I felt like he backed up a lot more. He was trying to read me more, and I felt he didn't respect my power. I knew that. And so I wanted him to come at me, and he did. And I was able to out-grapple him in that first round, I feel. And I didn't see it. I don't know what happened. I just know that first round I needed to kind of numb out his push a little bit. And then from there I could build up a rhythm and build up a strategy on piecing him up on the feet. So that's just where it went. I had to make adjustments as the fight went on, like I always try to do. And I try to always shut down people's strengths and make them useless to them.
And Luke, I know you're disappointed. What do you think you're going to do from here? What's the conversation you have with the UFC about immediate rematch, or what are you going to say?
I'd love nothing more. You know, I believe I had control of that fight from the beginning, and I just overcommitted, and he caught me. Bisping's a tough dude. I've always said it. You know, he's a warrior. He'll hang in there, but obviously I didn't respect him enough. Normally don't, and I work my way in. I got caught. Man, I guess destiny is real, but it's not going to last very long because I will have my belt back. I've dug myself up from the grave before many times that you've seen my losses and what I've done from them. If you check my record, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still on top of this game. I guarantee you give me that rematch, I will put this man away. I will respect him more, but I will put him away, just like I did the first time.
Thank you.
over here. Luke, I have another question for you as well. You know that people are going to say that you were overconfident going into it, and you just sort of alluded to that a little bit. But in hindsight now, were you discounting Michael's skill set? Since you'd already beaten him, you know?
Man, you know, I knew what he was capable of. I just didn't think that could, but you know, I know this game is crazy, and it's MMA, and anything can happen. I just got a little over aggressive and overcommitted with my jab. Something I don't normally do. If you watch my fights, I don't commit with a jab too much. You know, I wait. I play the game. I read my opponents, and it was just early. It was just I felt like I could see everything he was doing, and it was for some reason I wanted to implement a jab more. I was just using it in camp a lot, and I feel like I wanted to try something new and show something new. Whereas that's obviously not the best way to carry yourself when you're defending your title. I stick to who I am, and stop trying to expand too much. You know, slowly but surely. I feel like I'm still the best in the game, and I will prove that anytime. And I will be back right here with the belt in front of me.
When you defeated Chris Weidman, he had said something to the effect of, he was really frustrated at losing the belt to you in particular.
Try losing it to Michael Bisping.
That's what I was going to ask you. How do you feel?
God, that guy's such a dick. I mean, you show your true colors after a fight, and that fucking guy comes up to me and says, "You know where you are?" Huh? Like, I fucking picked you up off the canvas and gave you respect. That guy's a piece of shit, and I want to fucking come kill him next time around. He's just a maggot. Coming to me and saying like that, those are true colors.
Yeah, Michael, I'll bring you up to speed, Michael. I just asked Luke if it stung any extra degree in losing the belt to you, and he has said emphatically, yes, it did. I'm curious.
A good man down.
Grab that microphone.
Well, how do you?
I am the champion of the world, people.
How do you feel?
Hate to say I told you so.
Pick up the mic, Michael. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Karyn.
Hi, everybody.
How do you feel getting revenge?
I don't know. Some say revenge is sweet. I disagree. I think it's better than sweet. Luke, come on, buddy. When the shoe was on the other foot, I leaned over and thanked you at this moment in time. I said, well done.
Yeah, and I actually picked you up off the canvas. And you, being the dick you are, came up to me and was a bitch
I shook
about
your
it.
hand, and you said, I already shook your hand and told me to fuck off, basically.
You asked me, do you know who you are? Do you know where you are, buddy?
Yeah, that's after you.
Yeah,
Hey, buddy, you got knocked the fuck
dick.
out. You
Hey,
got knocked out, buddy. Sit down, shut
you got
up.
lucky.
All right.
You got
Oh,
lucky.
yeah. Real lucky.
Bisping.
First round, buddy.
First round.
What an asshole, guys.
I will come back and fucking kill you.
Last question
Yeah,
for you.
okay. Hey. How's that jet lag,
You
buddy?
enjoy your
It wa-
short-lived destiny, my friend.
All right, yeah, it is my destiny.
Mark my
It
words.
is my destiny, not your destiny. Dude, see, you're not doing yourself any favors. You're an incredible fighter, Luke. You really are, and I congratulate you for making me step up my game to come at you, you know, but don't be a dick.
Michael,
Hi.
my last question to you is, you know, you believed in it being your destiny. How does it feel to actually finally have that in front of you after chasing it for so many years?
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, I want to thank everybody my family, of course, and people along the way that supported me, the UK crowd, the UFC fans all over the world. You know, I mean, this has been a lifetime's work, and I always felt that I was capable of doing this. You know, and I've had my ups and downs along the way, and I understand why people, you know, didn't believe in me, but because I'd lost some key fights, and I accept that. But I knew deep down inside myself that I could still always do it. That's why I took this fight on short notice, you know, because as I said leading into it, you know, that defines me. I am a fighter, you know, and, you know, I showed the world, I shocked the world. I was a 10-1 underdog. I got the job done. I do believe it was a knockout in the first round, and I do believe it was performance of the night bonus time. 50 G's, baby. Thanks, Luke.
Luke, do you feel that training for Weidman an entire camp and then taking this fight on short notice is the reason why you stuck to a different game plan, and did it affect you entering this fight?
No, it was more about me going out there and proving a point and just trying to beat Bisping and overcommitting and trying to work new things. It was if I go out there and I fight my fight, this man can't compete with me. You know, I'll prove that anytime.
Are you
I will be
just hear
back.
you say I
will
can't
be back.
compete with you? Is that what I heard, everybody?
If I do my
Is that what
thing.
I heard? I was talking to you, Raya, and saying, well done. Is that what I heard? Did I hear him say?
You say it now that you're in front of the press.
Dude,
When we're man to man in the cage, we saw your true colors. We see who you are.
you just said I can't compete with you. I just knocked you out in the first round. Cold. Have you seen that replay, buddy? Your head was bouncing around like a pinball machine. I watched it. Yeah, watch it again. Obviously didn't sink in.
Yeah.
Dominic, next question's for you.
Whatever.
Uriah
It doesn't matter.
mentioned-
I live for the now. Doesn't matter about down the line, buddy.
Congratulations.
You just got knocked out.
Uriah mentioned Cody Garbrandt. You obviously watch everyone in the division and a lot of fighters. Is that someone you're looking at already? I know he just had his first major test, but Uriah's done this before. You know, he lost a fight and then mentioned TJ Dillashaw right after. He ended up becoming champion. Kind of has an eye for these things. Is that someone you're looking at?
I mean, I've heard that name before, but I think that that's somebody that Faber manages and collects a percentage off of when he fights, so that would make sense for him to mention him. But I saw him, and I just thought he was one of the new kids on the block. I don't know who he is.
Dominic, question.
You know who he is, dude. You guys got in a Twitter war.
I don't know who he is, man. I just thought that was one of the new kids on the block tweeting me.
Dominic,
Cody Garbrandt's the champ, man. He's a stud. It has nothing to do with anything other than that.
Nothing like you making a percentage off of when he gets good fights?
No, nothing. Trust me, I make my own money.
Yeah, off them, off your teammates, and then they ride your coattails.
I feel like we're at the pre-fight press conference again.
Whatever. Hey, you want to fight the best guys? Trust me. I would like to say I'm the baddest dude in the gym, but this is a sport where reality is reality, and we've got some killers in the gym. I've got guys that have been training me since they're 10 years old that are some of my top training partners that can put it on me. Little guys like Joseph Morales and Angelo Trevino, and these kids have been with me for years. So there's some talented guys, and don't take any. I'm not trying to take any away from Cruz. I'm just saying,
Matt
the guys are
Sales,
coming.
Danny Martinez, Wilson Hayes,
Yeah,
Jeremy
share
Stevens.
the love. Feels
list
good to
goes
share
on.
the love, right?
Yeah, it does, but the list goes on. I mean, I can do the same thing, except I don't collect a percentage when I promote these guys. They make their own money.
Guys, come on, please.
Wait,
It's over. It's time
you
to
get
take
Look
it
who's
out.
talking.
Insight on
Look
my
who's
life.
talking, Bisping.
The champ is
Somebody ask
speaking.
Bisping a question so that he can get the love back, please.
one more for Dominic.
Talk amongst yourselves for a second.
I agree. Hey, I wouldn't want to fight the new kid on the block either if I were you.
I got no problem
right
fighting
here.
anybody, and I
Right
have no
here,
problem
you're gonna-
fighting you
You're
either.
going to go ahead and ask a question
Thank you.
for us.
For Dominic, injuries have seemingly defined you for the last 4 years, but it's amazing how you continue to rewrite history and redefine yourself as a fighter after really it seemed like you were all done with the 3 ACL tears, the torn quad. What does it mean to you to reclaim your spot? I know you did it in January, do it again now, but reclaim your spot atop the world of pro fighting.
Look, these fights are hard. All these fights are difficult. This fight tonight was difficult. I did well. I won. Thank God. I really thank God for it. But I want to be humble in defeat and humble when I win to an extent, you know? He's talking, so I'm talking back. That's how it goes. But the truth is, this division's on fire. My job is to come in here, be the champion, and now everybody's talking about 135 pounds. It is stacked right now. There's tons of guys in this division that look amazing to me, that are awesome. And it fires me up. And I think the division's fired up for me coming back after a 4-year layoff, winning the belt, defending the belt, and being here again. So the target's on my back. I can feel it. I love it. I bask in it. Bring it.
Are you able to enjoy the moment, or is it too overwhelming with so many opponents kind of?
I'm in the trenches. I'm always in the trenches. I've been in the trenches this whole time. I was in the trenches on the desk analyzing fights, people saying that they were better than me. It's always been that way. It's never changed. People have always been calling me out. People have always been saying they're better than me. It's the way it is. It's part of being the best, is dealing with that. And you just gotta do it. I mean, I'm just dealing with it. Have faith in my abilities, have faith in my instincts, like I did tonight. You know, you're nervous going into all these fights. That's your body telling you it's a good thing, you know? That's your body trying to preserve you. You thank yourself for that stuff, and you move forward and believe in your instincts and have faith. And, you know, my higher power is God, and he gave me power through this time, all these years.
For Michael, please. Obviously, coming in on short notice, you said, hey, you know, I do have the energy to go 5 rounds. I'm fine. But now that it's over, can you give us an honest assessment of, you know, the type of shape you were in going in? And was there any kind of pressure to get this done early?
Yeah, no, seriously, I was in shape to do 5 rounds. I think Well, I know now. I've never taken a short notice fight before. I always overtrain, always. And every time I have a camp, I always talk about how I'm not going to overtrain this time. But it matters so much to me that I always overtrain. And my coaches are always telling me, no, don't do anything. And the next morning I go in and they say, what did you do last night? Did you rest? I'm like, well, yeah, but I went on a 5-mile run just nice and easy. And they're like, Jesus Christ. You know, so as soon as I got off the plane from filming that movie, as soon as I got in the gym, I felt so strong. I felt amazing. And my cardio was good. And I was able to go 5 rounds. And then when I was watching Luke, you know, we watched a bit of tape, and every time he does something, he drops his right hand. You know, he was even doing some video on Instagram where he's doing this thing, and his right hand drops. You drop your right hand all the time, buddy. So I was like, left hook all day long. The left hook that dropped Anderson, the left hook that won me this motherfucking world belt. Boom. You can call me Left Hook Larry from now on. There you go.
Can you talk about what was going through your mind as the fight was playing out? Because it seemed like he was walking forward and showing you very little respect for your striking.
Yeah, he doesn't have respect. You know, he doesn't have respect for many people. You know, so I think he might have respect now. You know, might have a little bit of respect. We'll see about that. But I always knew I had the punching power. I always knew I was capable of doing this. And you know, I said 2 weeks time. In 2 weeks, how's he gonna feel when I walk off a movie set and whoop your ass? And that's what I did. And I do believe in destiny. I do believe in the universe pulling it all together. I've worked my life towards this. I've worked tirelessly. I've worked very hard. I made a lot of sacrifices. I quit work when I had a wife and 2 kids and we had no money. We were broke, but she supported me and let me do that. I moved away to another city. I slept in my car. You know, I've made so many sacrifices. I remember sleeping in my car and trying to open the door with this much snow on top of it that had frozen, trying to break my way out of a car to just go train in the morning, you know. So people don't know the road I've been on, you know. So, yeah, I know I'm a loudmouth idiot at times, you know, and I can be a dick. I know I can, but I'm just out here trying to look after my family, look after my children, and give them the best life possible with the only way I know I can. This is what I do. I fight. I don't do anything better in this world than fight. And thanks to everybody that supported me along the way.
And lastly, Mike, I know you'll take some time to enjoy this moment, but of course, when champs are here, the next question is what's next. You know, you've got Weidman, you've got Jacare. It looks like there'd be some heat in a trilogy fight.
Yeah.
What does seem to make the most sense?
You know what, to be honest, I'm just going to relish the moment. I think I deserve it. 10 years I never got a title fight, and then I just knocked the bum out in the first round. So, you know, I'm just going to relish this moment. I'm going to ride the crest of this wave. I'm going to have a few drinks. I'm not going to do a Tim Sylvia and walk around with this on constantly, but I do envision the mother of all hangovers coming my way pretty soon. Then after that, once that clears, once I drink some water, maybe take a couple of ibuprofen to get rid of the throbbing in my head, you know, I'll take a look at the landscape and see what's knocking out next.
Thanks, Mike. For Brian Ortega, if I could, obviously ended up being a huge victory for you tonight. A bit of a slow start as you've had sometimes, but still talk about your performance and just how you felt about the whole fight.
I mean, I felt great, man. You know, looking up to Clay Guida my whole life as a kid, it wasn't easy facing someone that you admire, you know, someone that every time you looked up. And when I was just a youngster, I was like, man, that guy's crazy. Like, look the way he bounces up, and he just does all these crazy things, and he puts on exciting fights. And I did start off slow, and part of it was just because I was in there, and I was like, holy shit, I'm fighting Clay Guida. It's like, you know, I was like, as a kid, you know, you're like, man, this is the guy I looked up to growing up. And then to actually be facing him and hitting him and everything, you know, it was just, it took me a while to kick get on all 4 cylinders going, and then finally I started moving more in the second round, third round. I felt great. I knew he had great cardio, but I mean, in the third round, I felt him just kind of tire out. I could see right through him, you know. I was like, man, he's tiring out. I said, so I better pick it all up. And then I got that knee in, and then got that KO.
And it seemed like you were kind of overcome with emotion. Can you just talk about, I guess, what it was that got you so emotional after that win?
You know what, man? I've been going through a lot of things in life. You know, just going through a lot, man. And a lot of people don't know, but, you know, I try to stay quiet about it, you know. But, you know, some things happened in my life that kind of had my head messed up. And just all kinds of things coming at me, and then having this fight in hometown. And then you think you want to fight at hometown until you realize how many hometown people bug you for free tickets, or they want to be your cornerman, or I got all kind of crazy requests. So it was kind of stressful, you know. But with everything going on, I still came in here and I did what I have to do.
Thanks, Brian. And just last, if I could, for Dustin, a great performance by you as well, obviously. Joe Rogan said it might have been the best of your run so far. I know it's early after, but what do you think of that performance?
I'm happy with it, of course. You know, I got a first-round knockout, but I felt great. You know, coming into this fight, I felt very confident that I could put him away. My body's still coming around, rebalancing out at 155 pounds. I'm feeling the power, you know, really coming back. Not that it really left, but I just feel like I'm balancing back out. I was sucking my body down and stopping it from growing and being where it wants to be. So now I feel natural. You know, when I get in the cage, I feel like how I feel in the gym. Before I felt a little slower and a little bit unclear mentally. Now I feel aware and in the moment.
And I know you said you want a big fight, and you certainly deserve a big fight, but I know you have a kid on the way as well. So map it out for us. What do you think the future holds? What makes sense for you next?
Yeah, we'll see. In 2 months, my wife's giving birth to our first child, and I'm damn sure not going to be in a training camp for that. So I'm going to sit back and enjoy this win and go home, become a father, and see what's next. I want a top 5 guy, you know. I've been asking for big fights. I feel like I'm getting better with every performance. I'm growing and maturing as a person and a fighter, man. I want big fights. I want to headline shows and make money. I want to put people away on top of pay-per-views. Let's do it.
Dustin, I have another question for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Martin. My bad.
Michael, you've been known as kind of the bad guy for quite a long time, but the crowd seemed to kind of enjoy your
I do believe I got a bigger cheer than my opponent, you know. So, but yeah, listen, I've done things to be considered a bad guy over the course of my career. I know I have. I've acted like an idiot, but I've grown and matured in front of the world, to be honest, you know. And I know I've said things. I look back and I cringe at some of the things I've said in the past. I might cringe at some of the things I said tonight. That's just how I am. I constantly make mistakes, but I try not to make the same one twice. You know, I mean, I don't know. What was your question?
I was going to say people kind of seem to like what they heard tonight. Would you be comfortable being a little bit more of a crowd favorite moving forwards, or do you prefer being the bad guy?
No, everybody wants to be liked. Come on, you know. I mean, but you know, as a fighter, we're trying to generate interest. We're trying to generate hype, and of course, the bottom line is money. You know, and whether people like you, as long as there's some emotion on display, you know, that is the main thing. The last thing you want is an indifferent clap when you walk in. But of course, you always want that cheer. I'm not going to lie. I think in the past I was surrounded with the wrong people. They were encouraging me to make bad mistakes and to act a certain way. They were getting me to live up to the persona of the bad guy, if you will. But you know, I've got a great team around me now. I've got a great, beautiful family. Life is good. I love living here in Southern California. I miss the UK dearly, of course. And but yeah, listen, you know, life is good, and I try and have a smile on my face everywhere I go. You know, that's why sometimes I say stupid shit, because I'm always just being silly. I'm just having a laugh, you know, and sometimes it's taken out of context.
But you're saying this is a nicer version of you? You said you made mistakes.
What are you
before.
saying?
I'm asking.
You saying there's a bad version of me?
Not at all.
Yeah, I think you're slightly calling me an asshole. You want to take a look at a proper asshole? Look to my right.
Cheers, Mike.
Take a couple more. Go ahead in the front there.
One for Dustin, Dan, and then the participants of seems to be Rockhold Bisping 3. Dustin, you talked about afterwards having mouths to feed. I know you guys are expecting again real soon. Just want to know if you could talk a little bit about the mindset. Is that something that the pressure of fatherhood and family life, is that something you got to kind of block out to not be tense in there, or is it something you can use as motivation, or a little of both?
I think a little of both. Man, I work so hard and dedicate so much of my time, and I'm very passionate about this. I don't know if it's possible to put any more into it. You know, I give it my all. I really do. But having a daughter coming, man, is, if there's more to put, I'm putting it. You know, I'm giving it all, always. I always do. But it's just another thing to fight for. I'm excited about it.
Thank you. It's always unfair to talk about rematches right after a big fight, after someone's earned a title. But given that you guys are already going back and forth, given that we just had a rubber match here tonight, a great fight, Michael, Luke, Dave, anyone that wants to chime in, any of you guys, is there any reason that that we shouldn't give Michael Bisping 2 months to promote a fight and do a third match, do a rematch of this one?
Listen, you know, for everything that's said and done, I respect Luke a lot. I think he's a fantastic fighter, and we've had our ups and downs along the way. I have nothing against the guy, I really don't. And he's an incredible fighter, and I want to thank him for bringing out the best in me. You know, because when you're faced with a challenge like that, you have to rise to a certain level. And I do. And I know for all the bullshit, Luke, come on. We're just two individuals trying to achieve greatness and be at the top of our game. So, you know, I'm being a little jovial right now. Of course, I'm in the best mood ever, so I'm being a little bit silly. But I respect Luke. I respect Luke greatly. And he has a victory over me, and I have one over him now. You know, there's no reason why we can't do a third one down the line. You know, I'd like to do a little victory tour and, you know, maybe knock a couple of other people out in the meantime. You know, Luke's, you know... definitely deserves a third fight. You know, let's be honest. You know, he's an incredible champion. He's pound for pound one of the best in the world. You know, there you go. I did well tonight.
Oh, thanks. Last one for Dan, unless Luke, you want to add something, or
Look, Bisping's a dick, but he's a warrior and he's tough and he's gonna hang in there. I gave him an opportunity and he made the most of it. Giving me an opportunity will be the end of it. I think I've earned mine, but I will do whatever I need to do. But it will be a short-lived destiny. I promise you.
You just can't let it go, can you? You just can't let it go. How those lemons taste?
Okay, last one for thanks, guys. Last one for Dan Henderson. I'm just curious. We're way past, years and years past you having anything to prove, right? Like you were a Hall of Famer from your accomplishments a long, long time ago. Yet you fought on and you've continued to win. I'm just curious, what makes it hard for a great athlete like yourself to walk away? Is it the love you get from the crowd like you got tonight? Is it knowing that you can still go out there and beat anybody in the world any given night? Is it financial? Like what makes it hard to stop being an athlete? Is it an identity thing? Because, again, you have nothing to prove, and you haven't for a long time. Is it just that you love it so much? What would you say?
Yeah, it's never been an identity thing. Obviously, the money helps. I love doing this, though, and I love getting paid to do it. And, you know, for me, I think it's along the way been more about the challenge. And every opponent I get, it's a different challenge, and sometimes bigger, sometimes they're just different. And, yeah, I feel like as I've gotten older, it's a different type of challenge. You know, I'm kind of challenging myself with my opponent and time as well. You know, I'm definitely older than. Well, I guess for a while I've been the oldest guy in the UFC, but older than the average guy fighting for sure. But I feel good. I feel like I'm still capable of competing with the top guys. You know, it's more about the other things I want to do in life and spending time with the kids, and I've managed to do that just fine along the way. But you know, I'm getting close to being ready to being done and being okay with it. I've been okay with it for a while. If I look back and what I've done, I'm completely okay with it, and feel good about myself as well. And but we'll see. I'm not making any decisions now. I'm just going to wait and see what happens and see what my options are.
Take two more. Go ahead, Simon.
Question for Michael. Yes. No surprise there. Very few people get to win a UFC world title, but only one person can be the first. And you're the first British fighter to win a UFC world championship.
Thank you, Artie. Pardon me, I'm getting a little choked up.
For those people who stayed up till gone 6 a.m. back home, just give them a message and just let them know how much it means and what it is to you right now.
It's incredible. I really, really have felt the support from the UK. You have no idea the amount of tweets, the amount of messages, the amount of Facebook things. It's just incredible. And I've said this all along, and I truly mean it with every word I say. The support from the UK is part of the reason why I'm here right now. And everybody that stayed up to watch this fight, I thank you all personally. There was a flag that I was supposed to walk out with all the messages on. outfitting policy wouldn't allow it. So my apologies for that. But as I said, the UK people and the UFC fans all over the world, but the UK, I hold the UK dear to my heart, and for everybody that stayed up and watched, thank you all so much. I can't wait to go back to the UK and bring this bad boy here. Thank you all dearly and so much. And for the record, that fight went just down like the sparring session that is famous. So it's kind of 2-1 really.
Question for Bisping. You said you be willing to have a couple of opponents before a rematch with Luke Rockhold and good man sitting here.
Oh
Jack
yes,
Ray,
I wonder who.
Yes, sitting right here. Would you be okay with that first? And Luke, would you want the immediate rematch or be able to sit back and watch Bisping versus Jack Ray potentially?
Who do you want an answer from?
Both of you.
You asked 2 people.
2 weeks notice. I'm ready.
Oh,
doesn't matter. I think
wasn't that my line?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's flip
I
the
bet
switch.
you are.
Let's
But you
flip
just
the
got
switch.
knocked out. I think you're suspended. For a little while, you're suspended, probably 90 days until you get your MRI
90
checked.
days. You take your vacation. I'll be ready.
Bro, you're suspended. Shut the fuck up. Jack Ray, world-class opponent, nothing but respect. I, unlike this guy, don't turn down opponents. And if Jack Ray, he is the #1 contender, and I've never turned down a fight in my life, and it would be an honor to share the octagon with him. He's an incredible fighter, a true martial artist. And, of course, if that's what they want to do, that's what I'll do. Right now, I just want to be with my family. I want to rejoice in this moment. I'm going to take a vacation. I'm flying to Thailand with my kids. I'm going to rent a big, beautiful villa and just going to enjoy. But Jack Ray is an amazing fighter, and it would be an honor to share the octagon. I just got to say, you got to watch out for that left hook, boys.
Last question. For both Dom and Uriah, at the end of the fight, you stood and looked at each other for a second, and I was going to ask if it's time to bury that hatchet, but after listening to the two of you now, will you ever be able to?
Yeah, I don't mind. It's been an interesting relationship throughout the years. We've been locked in PR arrangements where we've had to work as a team. We've had to, share the disappointment of injuries and missed opportunities. There's been a lot of, basically getting to know each other. I feel like he's grown up a lot since the original days of me thinking he was just a little punk. I think he's grown. He really has grown up a lot, and has gotten better as a fighter as well. So, the truth is though, our team is full of killers, like I talked about. So there's always going to be that rivalry there, and I feel like we've made up at points for like a day, and then it just goes right back to some negativity. So who knows what's going to happen in the future? But Dom's okay.
It's just funny listening to that. I don't know. We have. It's been a crazy roller coaster. I'm glad that obviously I could come out winning and holding the belt after everything I've been through. It's been a crazy few years, and I've done really well against anybody from his team every single time. I think that I have a lot of killers at my gym too, and I think that everybody at Alliance Training Center that I work out with gets me ready to beat everybody he's ever trained himself and everybody that I've beaten. They've all helped me win. I didn't do this by myself. When I was getting built up for the years, coaching these guys, training these guys, I watched them to get better so I could come back with the eyes I needed to still be the best. Wilson Hayes, Danny Martinez, Rolando Perez, Jeremy Stevens, Matt Sales, Teco, Masio. The list goes on with the guys that I got to get me ready. Polo, that just had the fight of the century. Guy's a monster. These guys all get me ready, so it's not just me out here. Like I said, I don't make any percentage off any of these guys. They just help me get ready, and I love them. And that's it. I make no money off any of them. He does.
Our team is funded by our fighters. We have coaching staff, and it's a losing venture. If you want to take over, I'll hand it over gladly.
It is a losing venture for you guys against me.
I have a feeling this will never
We'll
end.
see.
On that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to the forum and their staff. Have a great night.
Goat press conference right
Sorry, delete that comment from there.